All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. I'm actually a little excited to make this one. There are some really interesting things going on with both stocks. Really, very different things going on with both stocks. And ultimately, I think this is such a repeatable video across every single stock, whether it's a big one, a small one, tech, pharma, whatever. All right. So with SoundHound, earnings was a story. Man, Thursday is my busy day at work. I really wanted to make a video yesterday. That was such a crazy doji. I'm going to talk about that a lot, all right? But look, the common theme across these last three candles, we're now under the 8 moving average. And the big theme of my video when we were up here was, despite how amazing everything looked just before earnings, oh man, be careful. And this is what that be careful means. All right. So um I think there's still some good to be argued. We're obviously still holding the 20 moving average, and I'll talk about that a little more shortly. But my worry has to go up just a little bit more, especially as I'm looking at the S&P 500 now kind of testing a little bit, as I'm looking at NASDAQ kind of testing a little bit, right? And what was the guy's name? Gary something. Gary something. Yep. Who's this Gary? I had no idea. So Gary Gensler is the chairman of the SEC, and he is resigning, right? And you know, I'll be honest, you can tell I had no idea who he was, but yeah, the head of the SEC is an important person. You know what I mean? So just some interesting factors outside. You know, again, the indices, right? All the chairman of the SEC and all that sort of, like, that's the ocean, right? And this is the little boat that we're on, right? SoundHound here. So a bunch of thoughts. My last video basically said 525. I think I still have to think that for now, unless, you know, big things happen at that 20 right there. All right. The next one, DXYZ. Look, I know there was so much hype. I know I saw a lot of people talking about $100 and onward. You know what I mean? There's a reason we stopped at 50. There's clearly lines to be drawn above, but didn't for a reason. Hey, knock on wood, that was a good line to draw, right? I say healthy cooldowns often, and this to me is what a healthy cooldown looks like. All right, a crazy high RSI comes all the way back down to a manageable number. You go away from the 8, you come to the 8. Hopefully we go away from the 8 again, right? And yeah, look at that, we don't lose it. Hey, we open down here, a little worrisome for sure, but again, there's a reason I do the end of hours, right? There's a reason I care about the close, right? And it's an interesting close. We broke resistance. We're over the 8. Excuse me, little hiccup. We need to confirm on Monday. All right, so excited to talk about all this and more. But before we do any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We're going to take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. I'm going to start here. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here, giving me your time, oh, I'm so grateful for it, all right? So, you know, normally I don't tell viewers to go back and watch my old videos. I'm not here really trying to pimp my videos, you know what I mean? But I'm going to bookmark my last SoundHound video. By the way, that was like my highest viewed video. I'm so grateful for it, and I hope it helped some good people, all right? But right here, I've already bookmarked it, and look, everything, and I mean everything, looked amazing, at least on the technical side before earnings, okay? We were over all 5. We were on our way to flying. We had a very healthy MACD with a very positive green over red. RSI was actually still a really good number. It was not even at the 80 mark yet, right? You can see I drew this line at 78. I'll go over again why this is there. But yeah, oh my gosh, my cats just dropped something. Oh, I hope that's not something bad. I gotta pause this real quick. Oh my goodness, sorry. Oh, that was beautiful. All right, all good. Don't worry about that. I think I forgot where I was. No, no, no. Yeah, I said I'd go back and show you why I drew this. But again, RSI was not even at the 80 yet. There was no reason to sound the alarms. And again, I mean, volume was just like good, 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 good. Everything on the technical side was setting up well. All right. It's interesting to see the gap down on earnings. All right, I'm gonna say it really quickly. I don't think earnings was that bad. If I saw things correctly, and again, look, you know I'm not here to like pretend I know the fundamental side very well and this and that, right? So please give me your opinions if you agree or disagree there. But there was nothing I saw in the earnings that screamed we deserve the gap down that we saw. You know, the crazy thing was like the second it hit after hours, SoundHound dropped like 17, maybe even 20%. I remember us talking about it in the Discord immediately. It made this wild little recovery, and then the earnings came. It wasn't that bad, and then it was a very, very weird earnings reaction. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? But I think that just emphasizes what I say all the time. Earnings is crazy. I'm an educated person, all right? I'm not here pretending to be the smartest or anything like that, but I've got some common sense. You know what I mean? I can read some stuff and decide if this is good or bad. And my goodness, I can't tell you how many times I've seen really good earnings, which again, I think SoundHound had some good earnings, get these horrible gap down bad results. I've seen the opposite where you just read these horrible, silly, either super fluff, either really bad misses, maybe just bad earnings. Get these like 20%, maybe even 80% runs, right? I'm telling you, earnings is crazy. It's a big reason why on that last video I just kept stressing, you gotta ignore, you gotta see what the market reaction is, and then you ride the wave up or you avoid the avalanche down. Look, I say that exact same thing every time too, not just on this one. I'm telling you, I would say it on a $500 blue chip. I would say it on a 30-cent penny stock. You know what I mean? Earnings is just wild. All right. So I promise you this much. Number one, if you lost money in that little gap down, don't worry about it. I lose money all the time. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of trades we're going to make over our career. You will forget this. The goal is you learn from this and you avoid it next time. You know what I mean? And look, I'll be real honest. And I'm even going to I put it here, Dave. I broke my rule. All right, Dave hit. I'm sure I said it right here. I held through earnings on Dave. All right, it doesn't happen all the time. Trust me. I follow my rules. I really do. But every now and then you break some rules. You just go on a gut, and then hey, sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. Believe me, right? But baseline, I hope you put that in your back pocket and use it. All right. So again, I did think the earnings weren't bad. I didn't think the earnings deserved this gap down. Our simple human opinions don't matter. All right. So, excuse me. Yesterday was an interesting day. Yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, there was a analyst that gave a price target at 8. What I'm doing is I'm grabbing my phone. If it sounds like I'm like fumbling right now, I just want to see the headline and make sure. Um, where is it? Where is it? Yes. H.C. Wainwright and Company. Listen to me. I do not care about anyone's price target. In a lot of ways, I hope you don't care about my price targets, right? Like you gotta be the one that sets and believes in that target yourself, not listening to someone, right? But believe me, whenever I see a thing that says analyst says upgrade, downgrade, price target up, price target down, I generally ignore it because again, I have no idea how long HC whatever is talking about. Is he talking about a month? Is it a she? I have no idea who this person is. But like, I'm here talking about days and weeks, right? Most analysts are here probably talking about 5 years, maybe 1 year, maybe. Definitely not days and weeks. That's not what they do. So, just kind of keep analyst thoughts to your, in their own little bucket, in my opinion. But again, people do different things with different things. I think this doji for a moment, people got excited. I do think that. And again, I think it's a natural reaction. But hey, that's why we're here letting these moving averages keep things in reality, right? As much as I always say respect the doji and, it's a little 50-50, I think today may made a lot of sense. I think today was a little bit foreseeable yesterday, and I think a lot of it has to just do with the fact that we couldn't get over the 8 moving average. I would have still been as 50-50, but probably leaning a little bit more on the positive side. But if the doji closed here, just even a penny over, even a penny at $6.69, it would have been a penny over the 8 moving average. That would have gotten me a little more excited for today and maybe a little more optimistic for today. I am now seeing a gap down, struggling to get over the 8 moving average. And again, I'm not here pretending to know the math. I sincerely don't know the math behind these lines. This gap down is going to eventually catch up to the math, and it's going to start pulling it down. Look, there are a lot of different moving averages. Moving average. Look, this system alone has 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess you can, yeah, let's just say 4. All right, we're using simple here. Again, life, keep it simple, right? It works for a reason. If you're using front weighted or exponential, this gap is probably already being factored in, and this line's already probably coming down, right? This is just a little bit of about half now, you can say, right? Just under half of the 8. Really 3 are down here, right? So 5 going up and 3 kind of here. It's not going to make the line go drastic, but pretty soon this 8's going to start coming down, and we better, SoundHound better get over that 8 moving average. Otherwise, we've seen it do it before. I mean, I got to go back in a bit and look at for it, but like this thing does get stuck. It does get stuck under the 8, and you can see this one was about a month and a half window. This one was about a month window. There have been longer and longer ones for sure, right? Like this one was basically most of that, right? So different time. Obviously, the stock's doing really well. There's a lot of moving averages we're still holding, but at what I'm seeing and what I'm expecting, I'm still holding my thoughts from the last video. I think we're coming down to 525. I think we're basically coming down to the 50 moving average, give or take, right? 2 things to just stress. Number 1 is NVIDIA earnings, okay? I don't know if for whatever reason NVIDIA can say, hey, one more time, I think AI is still going strong, and if he can say it and it can like ripple through the other AIs, we've seen it before, and that might be a real thing, right? NVIDIA earnings might be strong enough to recover the NASDAQ, right? If NASDAQ can get basically, I mean, obviously I would say right here, right now, but yeah, just by the time this 8 moving average comes down, I think this will be our money line. Maybe it'll be that. But again, get me back into that 19s. I'll be thinking all-time highs again. NVIDIA has the power to do that, right? So let's see what NVIDIA does. And then the last thing, I said it, I think in the beginning, maybe in the beginning of this, I don't remember, Gary. Let's see what happens with the resignation of the chairman of the SEC, all right? The one thing I said, and again, tinfoil, I think it's fair to assume that the head quitting is not going to be well taken, and it's going to get a bad reaction, all right? But maybe the rumor is whoever is replacing Gary is going to be better. You know what I mean? And one thing, and again, obviously just a thought, but hey, it might be someone who's been here before. And hey, that may be, again, I have no idea who this Dan dude is, right? I sincerely don't. I have no idea how he did in those 4 years, or, you know, maybe did he blah, 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 right? But hey, if people like Dan more than Gary, that could be a good thing. Or if not Dan, you get what I'm saying, right? So watch NVIDIA, see how the indices react to that. Watch the 18th and the 19th when the SEC resignation happens. Otherwise, at the moment, SoundHound, I believe, is coming down to these 3 moving averages just based on earnings reaction. It should be very difficult to lose those 3. All right. We've also seen a little bit of a good doji hold, just under 5, right? You can kind of call it. I'm going to lower my line to that. Oh, this has been a good line. I know I really like, look at that line. This has been that 521 line. We've been talking about that thing. I can't lower that line. All right, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to raise this. No, I'm not. We're okay. I think I'm going to keep my everything as is. 490 can't lose. All right. If we lose that 490, I think we'll quickly come down to 390. Obviously, we're way far from that, and I'm not saying to think that, but if I'm right about 525, 490 is the next number I'm thinking about. All right. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. DXYZ. All right, very, very, very interesting things going on. Again, I sincerely believe this captures so much of what I talk about in so many of my videos. All right, it's why I'm making this one a knowledge center. Real quick, please, if you can subscribe, if you can share. Oh my gosh, it does so well with the YouTube algorithms, and I appreciate you, even if you don't, I swear. Let's take a look at this, and I zoom out because look, I actually know a lot of traders that will not touch a stock until all 5 moving averages have been set. And again, I know people that have different moving averages. Generally, these are kind of like the bread and butter last two. And yeah, I know I for real know someone that I actually consider way better than me too. Will not touch a stock till the 200 moving average is there. You know what I mean? Because even with the 200 moving average on the daily, you don't have that many moving averages on the weekly, right? So there's a bunch of reasons, and again, there's so many different ways to win on a stock, right? But the main thing I zoomed out for was, look, when there's a stock that doesn't have a lot of history, and in my opinion, that is what DXYZ is, right? This thing's only been alive for a couple months, right? It hasn't even been a full year yet. When you have a stock that doesn't have a lot of history, there are real good things about it and real bad things about it. Losing the death line would have made it real bad because there's no supports down here to catch. When you can stay and hopefully start to break and go, all of a sudden there's no resistances above, right? Excuse me, a little hiccup there. And that is what we saw. Obviously, DXYZ top holdings. Then we go to their website, right? This is just how I look. This is exactly what I was doing to find it, okay? The big thing that was the hype here was SpaceX. And the one thing I kept talking about, right? Because obviously it's easy to look at this and say, oh, this is, you know, when you're an ETF, right? This is an ETF. Most ETFs look like this. All right, and I'm basically removing the SpaceX number. Generally, the percentages look like this, where you have a number one that's probably 2x your next four, and then from there you have a bunch of little baby ones, and then some cash in the bank, right? Most of the time, you don't put almost half. You don't put almost 40% on. An ETF is supposed to be a balanced portfolio. It's a balanced managed fund that the peaks of one catch the lows of the other, and you should stay up throughout the way, right? Like if SpaceX was to tank, and again, knock on wood, it doesn't, because I am holding this thing. I have a very, very low number, so like it's easy for me to like thing, and I'm just saying that to be transparent, right? But like if SpaceX was to tank for whatever reason, none of these, like all of these combined, would not save this, right? And that's not how ETFs are. So to me, this is not a normal ETF. This is a SpaceX stock with some exposure at other places. And to me, that's what really helped that Trump, Elon, SpaceX, NASA government contracts, this and that, right? So talked about the hype a bunch, and knock on wood, like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm so glad I did not draw a line above 50. I'm so glad I talked about keeping things realistic. I'm so glad I said that there was a healthy cool down coming. That is what this is, all right? So let's take a look right here. Listen, RSI by no means is a perfect indicator, all right? But the way it should work is 80 is the peak, then you come back down to a healthy 30, then you go back up to the peak of 80, then you go back down, and so on. Some can stay a little horizontal instead of the up and down, but that's your high and low, 80, 30, 80, 30, 80, 30. When you get to like 85, I start to get real loud and worried. When you get to like 90-ish, oh man, I'm screaming cool down. This stock on this day was 85. This, and by look at the RSI, it's the third box down there. You can see 85.41. Next day, it flies all the way up to 93. The day after, it sits at a 94. Those are ridiculously high numbers. And a healthy cool down takes that wildly high number below 80 and into a healthy range. To me, 68 is very healthy. The other reason I think it's easy for me to say healthy cool down is you go away from the 8, you come to the 8, you catch it, and you go up. All right, now look, listen to me. First of all, I see it going up a little bit after hours. I legitimately don't care. Monday, close must confirm. Monday, close, we're looking to break $36. We want at least $36.21. I'm clicking just a little high. I want to be over this Friday, the 8th candle. That is confirmation. That's going to make me believe we're ready to retest 50. Look, if we can get from this 32 to that 36 and change I just said, that'll probably only take us from a 68 to like a 70. From there, I think we can go 70 to 80 something and get over that 50. You know what I mean? But again, I am not thinking about 50 at all until we can get over that magic 36 number, all right? There were some interesting moments during the day, all right? And I was watching this, and I even said in the Discord, I thought it was ready. So today's the 15th, right? We're looking at 15-minute candles. All of these represent 15 minutes. We made an attempt to break all five, We're getting over all five. We're starting to bounce on the 8 moving average. My guess is at this one, 12:15. DXYZ. 12:15 is what? 12:11 is 9:15ish my time. 8:50. Nope, right here. 10:30. Oh, I said on the 10:30 one. I thought I would have done it here. Yeah, maybe right here. Yeah, I can see it right there. Either way, you can see what I was looking for. I thought we were ready to break all five and fly. We were just bouncing, and then unfortunately, it wasn't ready and it couldn't do it. You know what I mean? So that is why I said this one. I actually thought it had a shot here. I thought it had a shot on this one. I still actually just looking at it. Yeah, this 10:30 right here, 10, 11, 12, that's 1:30 right here, right? So, it just couldn't do it, and it's coming down. Like the RSI was nothing crazy either. I thought it was a very healthy number, but yeah, nonetheless, that's what we're looking for. Today did the job. Today bounced on the 8. It got over the resistance. Needs to confirm. Needs to break 36.20 on Monday. Otherwise, I've said we were going to come down to 25. So far, that didn't happen, which is a good thing. Again, when we gapped down this morning to 27, I actually, for real, thought we were going to close at 25 today. But yeah, otherwise, 25 still my target. Again, the 8 moving average has done the exponential and gone here. The 20 has done the exponential, I think, and has gone here. I don't know if it's going to go up fast enough to catch that. So maybe 21-ish. 22-ish might be the line below 25, but yeah, I'm not going to draw that. I'm just kind of guessing where the 20 moving average is going to go, Monday, Tuesday, give or take, right? But again, hopefully we break that and go. There's not too much to look at on the weekly chart, but I will say this. This doesn't look like a good candle. I get that, right? Obviously, the week lost 11%. Hey, we maintained most of last week's candle, right? You hear me say it on the daily, at least hold 50%. Oh, man, we held, 90% of last week's candle, right? So this is still a bullishness right here. And again, even on the weekly RSI was an 83 last week. We've now done a rather healthy cool down back to 76. Maybe it still goes down a little bit to 25, right? Maybe we go from 76 down just a little bit, but hey, this might be enough to go from 76 right back up to 80 something next week. You know what I mean? So all about Monday's confirmation, but at least today did the job it was supposed to, all right? Yesterday, that's the last thing I'm going to say, because, yeah, it's at a critical place yesterday. It must hold the 8MA. So far, so good. Monday, confirm. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Oh, I appreciate you so much.